been interesting watching the fate of Star Trek because I would argue Star Trek is probably in worse shape than Star Wars because at least Star Wars has gotten some good stuff here and there. Like The Mandalorian is really good. Clone Wars is really good. Rebels was all right. They had that really bad Resistance show. That show sucked, but Rebels had its moments. And then there's really good games coming out. Jedi Fallen Order is pretty good. I'd argue Battlefront 2 is a totally different game now than what it was when it launched. That game's really good now. But what has come out for Star Trek? Discovery sucked. Picard sucked. Hasn't had, any games would they have? Like a mobile game nobody talks about? Like it's in a bad place. Star Trek Lower Decks seems mixed. A lot of the people that I follow don't like it, but I do see people saying that it's probably the best thing that they've put out. I don't know what that says. Like here's this turd's a little bit less toxic. So I don't know. But apparently this is having some big repercussions. Alex Kurtzman might be getting fired. That would be interesting. I'm going to go over all of this news that's come out over the past couple of days. Paramount's new president is trying to figure out what to do about the Star Trek movies. So this is a little bit weird. So from what I understand is there's really strange copyright involving the shows and the movies. I'm not really 100% clear on all of that, but Paramount is trying to do a Star Trek movie. They had one with Quentin Tarantino lined up. I guess that fell through. They don't seem to know what they're doing. I think Colin Trevorrow is going to do one, but isn't. It's really confusing what's going on. You have to wonder, Paramount, if they're sitting there thinking like CBS has ran this show so far into the ground. Does it even really matter at this point? Like, they want to get these movies out because they'll make money. It's an established brand. But what do you do? They're kind of in a hard place here. I talked about this in my last video where I was talking about how Picard had lost half of its viewers, which was kind of crazy because if you bring back Captain Picard and you still can't get a hit Star Trek show going, that kind of says a lot. What else can you do besides bring back Captain Kirk? I mean, Captain Picard is a big, big deal. And the fact that you lost half your viewers on that show says a lot. Like I said in the video that I did before, I was really excited about this, and I thought this was great news. I was like, whoa, you're bringing back Captain Picard? That's pretty awesome. And this gave me some hope. Like, maybe, just maybe, this will be a great show because Captain Picard, I mean, how do you mess that up? And then they decided to make the show about Brexit, Trump, and at the end of the show, spoilers, I recommend you don't watch the show because it sucks, but if you care, a little bit of a spoiler. At the end of the series, Picard dies. They put his consciousness in an android Picard that looks just like him. They didn't de-age him. It's a really stupid reasoning. And so season 2 will have him dealing with his human privilege. It's really a stupid concept. Like, they've gone totally political with the show, and that's why it lost half of its audience. I believe the saying is, you get woke, you go broke. That's what happened with Picard. If you can't make this work, I have little hope for anything you put out as far as under the Star Trek brand. And then there was a new rumor that came out. I believe it started with Midnight's Edge. They were the first ones to start to talk about this. But apparently Star Trek Lower Decks has also lost about half of its viewers. That's pretty insane if you think about it, because this show was the new thing. They're trying to capitalize on Rick and Morty and seeing if they can maybe get on that train. I look at this and I think this isn't what I'm looking for when I'm looking at Star Trek. Like, this does not represent Star Trek to me. Like, over the top parody. This isn't what I'm looking for. And I think a lot of people feel that way. I think a lot of people do like it, but this isn't what is going to unite the audiences and get them to show up for your stuff. Maybe you like the show, maybe you don't. If you like it, that's cool. This just isn't what I'm looking for in Star Trek. You know, if I was them, I would really go back and I would look at those first 6 Star Trek films and try to really analyze that if I was looking for a future for my franchise. Because those films were fun for everybody. Those films were fun for everybody. They were already diverse. You know, they were doing everything that everyone claims they want, but I just don't understand why they can't replicate that. Like, why can't you study those and try to put out a product like that? Those films are great, and they still hold up pretty good even today, which I think maybe that's something with practical effects and stuff. But the big news here is all of this disaster might lead to some good news. As a report from 10 hours ago, Alex Kurtzman may be fired and Star Trek Picard canceled, casualties in a franchise civil war. This is stating that Kurtzman and Emma Watts are fighting and that she's thinking about giving him the axe, which I think that would be good news. I mean, here's the problem with entertainment, and it seems that people are allowed to fail upward. You know, when DC Comics announced that they were going to get rid of a ton of people, you know, they were going to slash out 900 jobs. You know, a lot of people, and if it sucks to lose your job, it really does, but how many times are you allowed to fail before you're fired from your job? Like, how are you allowed to have several Star Trek shows get canceled? Or not canceled, but just disastrous ratings. No merchandise sales. The brand is probably getting devalued before you lose your job. Like, how many times can you fail upward? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Alex Kurtzman obviously is not the man to run this franchise, but he just keeps getting new projects. He keeps getting new shows. He keeps getting to do whatever he wants. He keeps getting to go into the same direction when it's obviously just not working. It's not working at all. The guy is obviously a disaster. When do you get rid of him? Like, why? It's the same thing with Star Wars with Kathleen Kennedy. She's done the same thing, disaster after disaster after disaster, and she's still there. Now, reports and rumors are saying that she's probably going to be ousted at the end of her contract, and I would hope so. I mean, Jon Favreau is obviously the guy you should put in there. I don't know if they're going to do that, but we'll see. We'll see what happens with Star Wars. That's a whole different video that I'm probably going to make sometime this week talking about the state of that franchise and why I'm a lot more hopeful for the future of Star Wars than I am for Star Trek, which is a shame because in a lot of ways I like Star Trek just as much, if not maybe a little bit more. I've realized that as I've been going back and watching the older stuff with the old crew, thinking how great it used to be, because I hadn't watched a lot of it in a long time. And it's just a shame to see how far it's fallen. And I don't know if Star Trek can ever make a rebound. I don't know if it can ever come back from this, to be honest. It's nowhere near the powerhouse that Star Wars is. But Alex Kurtzman, if he's truly going to get fired, that would be lovely news. And justified. I mean, he's ran the franchise into the ground. Time to go, Alex. Time to go. So we'll see if this turns out to be true, but apparently there's a lot of fighting going on in Viacom CBS, and they're going to make some changes. We'll see. Only time will tell. I'll keep you updated as time goes on. Anyway, will he be fired? We'll find out. That's it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you guys think about all of this in the comments. Do you think Star Trek can be saved? What do you think about the current state of Star Trek? Do you like Lower Decks? I'd really like to hear from you guys if you like Lower Decks. Are you not a Star Trek fan and you like Lower Decks? I'm curious about that one as well. Also, if you would throw a like up, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Subscribe if you're new. Hit that notification bell. And I will see you guys on the next one. Peace. Also, if you want to help support the channel, check out my Teespring store. There's a link in the description. You can find some merchandise in there that you might want to check out. Also, take a moment. Make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. There's something going on right now, and they've been unsubscribing people. So just take a second and double check on that and subscribe if you're new.